Hello everyone, I think we are live. Welcome, thanks for joining. Let me just pull up the live on my tablet so that I can see who's joining me and I can read your messages. Let me know, just say hi in the chat if you are just joining me now in this live. As the title says, I'll be creating a scene card using some adorable digital stamps by the Paper Ness dolls. If you have seen my announcement on Facebook, you'll know that there will be giveaways during the live. I'll tell you more in a little bit. I also want to wait for people to join so that I don't have to repeat the same things too many times. Hey Laura, hi! It's so nice to see you here. I'm glad you could join. Hey, hi! Yeah, I'm going to try and zoom in a little so that you can see the coloring hopefully a little bit better and from up close. Okay, so let me just quickly just share this on my Facebook if I can, so that maybe a few more people can join. Oh, Laura, thanks. Join me live. And that's that. All right, so that's shared. I'll just wait. Wow. I'll just wait a couple of minutes and then I'll start coloring. As I was saying, I'm not sure if you heard this already. These are digital stamps. There is also rubber stamps version. In the description of the live, there is already a link to the shop where you can get the digital file bundle. You would get 10 stamps, 10 digital stamps for $7, so I think it's a great value. And I'm using 3 of them today, so there is plenty more to play with. I wanted to create a scene where sort of the the star of the show was this big mushroom, and then we have the little gnome and the birds. I have a plan for these birds especially. By the way, this is the same image that I have flipped in my software where when I printed the images. I printed them on a Canon Pixma, in case you're wondering, and I already cut them with my scan and cut machine. And by the end of the live, I will have all the supplies that I used linked in the description box down below. Laura says, what a cute image. It is very cute. Elena says ciao, and I say ciao to Elena. Okay, I think we can start coloring. I see there's a few people here already, so I'm going to start from the mushroom, and I'm going to use... Hey Dawn, hi, thanks for sharing the live. Thank you, Laura, for joining the live stream. It's fun for me to do them, and yeah, I hope it will be fun for you too. So today I am using my Illustrator markers. This might not be something new. If you follow me here on YouTube, you will know that this is kind of my go-to coloring medium. I'm going to use some reds to color the top part of the mushroom. And I'm going to use a bit of a different technique than the one that I usually use. And I'm going to basically, I always start with my lighter marker and I map out the shadows, sorry. But today, instead of adding my shadows right along the stamped lines, I'm going to leave a little bit of a white space. Hello Madalena, hello Polly, thanks for joining. I was saying I'm going to leave a little bit of a blank space because this gives the images kind of a more rounded appearance. It's something I have been experimenting with lately, and I really like it, so I'm going to show this to you today. Laura said that I introduced her to Illustrator markers and she loves them. I love them too. I love them too. They are my go-to coloring medium, and I use them really on 90% of my cards. If you are not familiar with these markers, these are alcohol markers like Copics, for example. They also have a brushed nib, and on the other side they have a precision nib. They are refillable and you can blend them with each other. You will see how in a little bit. Alright, so I am mapping out the shadows as I said, and I am going to shade the image as if the light is coming straight on, because I have in mind how my scene will look like in the end. I played around with the images a little bit, and it will be kind of it will be center heavy in a way, and so I want to follow that symmetry, follow that type of design also with my shading. Hey Emma! Elena says in Italian that these gnomes are really cute. Sì Elena, sono carinissimi. I just said that they are very nice. Sorry. So because the light is coming from the front, I will have the center part being the lightest, and I'm going to have the shadows on the sides of the mushroom. This is my lightest marker for this color combination, so I have the freedom to go at it without being too worried about making a mistake, because I can always correct that later. Excuse me. Amanda, hi. Ever, hi. Thanks for joining, guys. Oh, Christine from Paper Nest Dolls is here too. So for the people who just joined, I'm going to repeat it. These are digital stamps by the Paper Nest Dolls. There is a link in the description box if you are interested, and yeah, I'm going to color them with my Illustrator markers today and create a fun scene card. I should add a little bit of a shadow here. This is a cast shadow from the window onto the cup of the mushroom. I guess that's what this part is called. And then I'm going to add a little bit of a shadow here. I hope you can see it, because when I have to go and add fine details, I need to keep my marker vertical on my page, and that means that my hand is hiding it. Usually when I have my pre-recorded videos, I have a side view. I've introduced this feature lately, but now I'm just trying my best not to hide too much of my coloring with my hands. Here I'm just dragging the shadow out a little bit so that the shape is kind of the same on both sides. And yep, I can move on to the darker, well, I'm not going directly with the darkest marker that I picked out. I'm going to go with one shade lighter, and I'll decide later if I want to go as dark as the DR6. So this is CR9. Oh, Laura says she likes the side view of my videos. Yeah, I think it's a fun feature. I'm glad you like it too. I obviously, you know, I like it from an aesthetical point of view, but I hope it's also functional. I hope it's helpful to see what I do when you have the side view as well. Alright, so you may have heard me say something about giveaways at the beginning of this live, or you might have read about it on Facebook, and I think it's about time I mentioned something about them. So Christine from the Paper Nest Dolls very kindly decided to donate two $10 gift certificates that you can use on her digital stamp store or on her rubber stamp store. And at the end of the live, I will just pick two comments at random from the comments you leave during the live, and these two people will be able to get themselves some crafty goodies. This digital stamp set is also available as a rubber stamp set, by the way, so depending on your preference, you can go either way. Hi Christine! Hi! Laura says that the side view is very helpful. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I'm really glad to hear that. One day, once I step up my live streaming game, I'm going to have multiple cameras as well. Possibly one showing my face, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm ready for that. Alright, so I'm coming back with my CR9 here and adding the shadow behind the window and here at the base of the window, because I had forgotten before putting the cap back on the marker. So yeah guys, make sure to comment and chat with me, first of all because, well, it's nice and also there is the little incentive of the giveaway. I'm coming in now with a bit of a lighter marker. This is a CR7, so it will be my mid-tone shade, and I'm blending everything towards the center of the mushroom. You may have noticed that when I added my darker marker on top of the areas that I had mapped out with my lighter one, I did not go all the way, but I kept it in like a bit more narrow areas, because I don't want the final result to be too dark. I want this card to be nice and bright and cheerful, like these little gnomes. Alright, so I'm done with the CR7. I'm going to just add a little bit here. And then I keep forgetting the window, I don't know why. Yeah, the reds in the CR family, Laura saying, beautiful red color. The reds in the CR family are really beautiful. Lois, which I hope I'm saying your name right, I really apologize if I am not, is saying that she finds it interesting that I use the darkest color at the edge. It is, I mean, that I'm leaving this blank space. Yeah, I think it's a very cool look. I've seen it by like from other artists like Alberto Gava on Instagram. He's very talented, and I think it's very interesting. It adds an interesting finish to the images and it makes them look even more rounded, I feel. Oh, Emma's mom's birthday is coming up. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. She says she has to get this set for her card. Yeah, it's absolutely adorable and I have a plan for the scene already. I hope I'll do it justice. I don't know what's with me today. I am struggling for words. Maybe it's because it's 9 p.m. where I'm at. I have no idea. I'll blame it on the time of the day, so I don't have to take responsibility for it. Alright. So I'm blending everything with the CR4 and I'm definitely going in with the second layer of color because the area is rather large. I stamped this image quite big on purpose because I think it's gorgeous and I really wanted lots of space to color. But obviously this means I may have to work at it a little bit more to get that nice and smooth blend that I like to get when I color with my Illustrator markers or with any medium for that matter. I did, and I think I will go with my darker marker here. So I will introduce this DR6. Christine from Paper Nest Dolls is asking me to tell you guys where I live. I live in the UK. I used to live in Germany and then we moved here a year and a half ago now. Time flies, you guys. It doesn't feel that much. So with this DR6, I'm going very sparingly. So I'm not even going to cover all the shadow areas because it is quite dark, as you can see. Beautiful accent, says Christine. Thank you, thank you. I never know how it comes across. It's strange, but I don't think I'll ever get rid of it. I was saying I'm adding this DR6 very sparingly because it's quite dark, and as I mentioned before, I don't want to go too dark with my images. I want a spring type card. Emma, are you in the UK too? She says it's the same time where she's at. Yeah, I'm in the UK, in the southwest. I thought Emma was in Germany too. We'll see. Maybe she'll tell us where she lives, if she feels like it. So now that I painted my nail with the DR6 and that I'm done adding the shadows there, I can go back in with my CR9 and try and blend them. It may not work perfectly because the DR6 is quite a bit darker, and with reds, the more you like, if you add too much color, it bleeds a lot. So in order to smoothen this transition a bit, I'm bringing in another marker in the DR family, which is DR4. Just a little bit of it here in these areas. And where I had, so basically everywhere I put the DR6, I'm going to use this DR4 kind of as a transition shade with the CR9. You're going to have to live with this marker on my nail for the whole life, guys. I hope I hope you don't mind. Okay, now the blend is a little bit better. Well, it's considerably better, I would say. Okay, CR9. And well, I hope you guys enjoy watching people color, because as you can tell, there is going to be a fair amount of coloring, but I love it so much. So, and this stamp set is perfect for those who love coloring too, because you can, as I did, you can stamp your images in the size you want, because it's a digital stamp, and you can have a lot of fun with it. Or you can, you know, just stamp it a little bit smaller, do some simple coloring. It's totally up to you. That's the fun bit of digital stamps versus traditional stamps, which are obviously lots of fun as well, but they don't offer this degree of flexibility in terms of sizes. The size is, you know, is one, it's fixed. Alright, so I am then blending my reds out with CR7, and you guys tell me if you want, I can go a little bit faster for the rest of the coloring. As I said, I enjoy it very much and I like to take my time, but if it gets too much, just tell me. Laura, please don't make this a little bit faster, and I will. Laura says the best artists and crafters are messy. Oh, then I'm the best, Laura, because I am terrible. I have permanently stained so many clothes. Anyway, let's not get into that. So I'm taking now my lightest marker, which I will use to blend the colors in the center here, and also with this shade I am going to go all around, and I'm going to fill in that blank space that I left earlier. And you see the effect is really of dimension. I love it. I really have to do this more when I color. And the fact that illustrators have these like fine tips really helps. And if you didn't feel very comfortable with the brush tip, because it does have a little bit of give, you could always use the, you know, the precision tip on the other side. I'm just showing you, but I prefer the feel of the brush tip, honestly. Alright, just a little bit more blending here. Not going anywhere, not lots of us are under house arrest. Yeah, we are spending a lot of time home, aren't we? Okay, so that's it for the top part of the mushroom. Speaking of messy, you can see all the bits where I went outside the lines. I'm going to fix it with my colorless blender, but I'm going to wait for a moment, because when you do that and the markers aren't dry yet, you're just going to basically help them spread through your you know, the paper. I'm going to use the colorless blender to remove the marker from my nail though, so you can see versatility of craft tools because I couldn't look at that. I'm just cleaning the nib here. Alright. Actually this colorless blender is running a little bit dry unfortunately, but because I have my reds out, I'm going to color the rest of the mushrooms. Good job with my nails, says Lois. Yeah, it was super quick. Alright, again, starting from my lighter marker, I'm going to add my shading, and just as a reminder, I'm assuming that the light is coming from straight ahead, so the central part of the images will be the lightest. I'm going to color both these mushrooms at once. Just to, you know, they are small, so this will be rather fast. And then I'm going to color the center of the mushroom house. And I don't know why, but there is something about mushroom houses that really speaks to me. When I saw this set, I need to have this. It's so cute. I think it's because I used to watch animated movies like not the long ones, but the ones with episodes when I was little, and there was one about this little like fairy creature living with humans, but then in the woods as well, and there were mushroom houses and all and things like that. I don't remember very well because I was very little, but it's, I don't know, I think my love for mushroom houses somehow has something to do with that. Here I'm using the same colors as before, and in the same, basically applying the same kind of principles. I don't think I'm going to go with the DR6, probably not, just with the DR4, because I think it's dark enough, and then we don't need to add, you know, an additional marker. So had I known it before, I would probably have gone just with DR4 up here. I find this transition a bit sharp, that's why I'm going back there with my DR4. But I'll try to be to the point. Okay, so I'm going to blend the center with CR4 at this point. Thanks again for joining, by the way. I'm really glad to see you guys here. I've been doing lives, well actually I've started doing lives now during this lockdown, and I find them a lot of fun. I really enjoy sitting here and crafting along with you guys, and it's a nice way to get to know you better, and I guess for you to get to know me a little bit better, because it's not the same thing when I share an edited video, right? I always try and reply to everybody's comments as much as I can. I probably miss some, but I really do my best because I appreciate the time people take to sit down and write a comment. Okay, the blending here is not turning out that great. Why? Anyway, I was saying I really try to reply to everybody's comments, but it's not the same. Like here we get to kind of chat a little bit with each other. So Christine has never done a live on YouTube. Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. By the way, it's time, I think, to fix these oopsies here, which are bugging me. So I'm taking a colorless blender and I'm trying to push back the color. If you do this on like with a piece of paper sitting underneath, it should help you, it should absorb the color if you saturate your paper enough, and it should help. This was a tip that I think one of my viewers shared with me. and so I'm sharing it with you now. But you can see the colorless blender is is kind of removing that extra marker that I got here accidentally. Christine is asking if anyone is new to her stamps here. So did you guys know the Paper Ness doll before the live, all of you, or is somebody being introduced to these cute stamps now? Laura says that these live streams are great fun. I'm happy. I'm really happy. And Emma says she wouldn't be able to talk. Yeah, well, I'm always a little bit nervous before I start a live. I will say that, but I just imagine that I'm chatting with you guys, and the more I get into the live, the more relaxed I am, and also the fact that I'm coloring helps because it relaxes me a lot. So, oh, Laura, it's new to she's new to the Paper Ness doll stamps. Yeah, they're really beautiful. I have a couple of cards on my blog, one with some adorable koalas, and I'm sure another one which I cannot remember. Oh yes, one with a gorgeous gingerbread house. Oh my god, I love that stamp set. And yeah, I used it for a Valentine's Day card back in January, I think, and it's on my blog. If I remember, I will put a link in the description box down below when the live is over. Emma said she did a few YouTube videos last year and she found herself rambling. Well, like, you mean YouTube, like recorded videos or actual lives? Because when I realized that I ramble while I record my voiceovers, I just, you know, delete the track and start over and try and get to the point a little bit more. Lois said that the gingerbread house is really cute. Yes, it's amazing. I got the rubber stamp. I'm not sure if maybe Christine can let us know if it's also available as a Digi. Then I will link it either way, but then I know where to look for it, if only on the rubber stamp store or also on the Digi stamp store. Okay, back to the coloring. I'm going to color this part here and okay, sorry, I was reading the comments for a second. What should I go for? Some golden browns or some muted browns? I'll go for some muted browns, and then I will show you a technique which is called glazing, which is something you do with watercolors as well, but or rather I think it is technically something you do with watercolors, but because alcohol markers share the property that they are transparent with watercolors, it's something you can do with them too. Okay, so I'll talk about the coloring and then I respond to you guys' comments. I'm using muted browns, as I said, and again I'm starting by adding my shadows to the sides of the base of the mushrooms, and I'm leaving a little bit of a gap between my color and the edge of the image, like I did for my mushroom. I'm only doing that for shadows that are created by the shape of the object. I'm not doing that for cast shadows. So here, the top of the mushroom is going to block the light reaching this part here, so we'll have a cast shadow, and there I'm not going to leave a gap. I'm going to go right along the stamped line, because I think it would just look a little bit strange. It wouldn't make a lot of sense to have a white line here, whereas by leaving it here, we are kind of imagining that there is some light reflected on the sides of the image, which is creating this kind of highlight or lighter zones. and there wouldn't be any reflected light down here, if that makes sense. So Madeline is also new to the paper Ness dolls. It's really fun, and Christine, it's absolutely lovely. Again, at the end of the live I will have all the links in the description box down below. Now you just have the link to this one digital stamp set. Emma, I know it's tough to do voiceovers because it's, oh no, I didn't forget, there is a cast shadow here, and this is why also here I didn't leave space, but I'm going to leave some at the bottom. And I'm going to fill in these areas because there will be cast shadows from the flowers, and also a little bit here, so that it looks really like the flowers are popping out with respect to the mushroom. Emma, yeah, I was saying it's tough to do voiceovers because, well, first of all, it's really weird to listen to your own voice when it's recorded. And also, I don't know, it is a little bit tiring, I have to say. I enjoy it, but it's it can be difficult, and it can take a long time to get used to yourself talking to a camera. I haven't, but you know, I just keep going. Okay, so, and I'm going to do this, so I'm going to add the shadow also around the door, because I want it to look as if it's standing out with respect to the surface of this part of the mushroom. And you can see when I go around curved areas, I turn the image so that basically I can take advantage of the motion of my wrist to sort of go in more precise curves. It's a little bit easier to go this way than if, I don't know, if I had to go this way. Okay, Dawn says so adorable. Oh yeah, I love it. I love it. I think it would be really cool to stamp like these mushrooms smaller, and stamp a lot of them, and just make like a mushroom house village, you guys. I have to do that. Alright, so now that I have mapped out and forgotten a couple of areas, see why I do it like this? Because now I can go back in, and I want to do for the windows what I have done for the door. So I'm going to add a shadow all around. So what do you think about the mushroom house village? Is anybody going to attempt it? We should do a challenge. Everybody should make their own village, and then, I don't know, we can share them. And it would be fun to see everybody would interpret this kind of concept, wouldn't it? Emma says, yes, I hope to the challenge. Do you? Christine says she wasn't a fan of gnomes until she saw this set. It's so cute. Yes, and you have a lot more images of gnomes. Like, I should have stamped them all to show them to you guys. I didn't think about that, and I'm sorry. Sorry, I just read Laura's message. She put in an offer to live in my mushroom house. Oh, you should live in the gingerbread one, because there you get sweets too. I forgot what I was saying before I read the comment. Anyway, hopefully it will come back to me. But, you know, if somebody is up to the challenge, let me know, we can think of something. Okay, so again here I'm going in with MB4, which is the lightest shade that I'll be using. I mean the darkest, sorry, probably the darkest, I'm not sure. And I'm going in around the shadow areas. And also in this case, like I did before, I am being a little bit less generous with the amount of the coverage, let's say, that I get with the marker. Yay, Laura is up to the challenge. So it's 3 people, yeah, at this point, right? All right. I'm checking the comments. That's what, when I suddenly stop speaking, it's because I'm trying to catch up with your comments. Oh, yay! Lois is in for the challenge too. What printer do you guys use? Does any of you use a laser printer? Because I use an inkjet one and I am pretty happy with it, in the sense that it works great and it takes even watercolor cardstock, like the very heavyweight one, up to 300 grams per square meter, which is like the Canson Excel watercolor cardstock is that thick, for example. But and it does have two black inks. One is pigment based and it's kind of waterproof, so I can use my water based markers on it. I have done some watercoloring with it, you know, on that ink as well back in the day. But I don't know, I'm kind of thinking about getting a laser printer because well, on the one hand I think it's a little bit more cost effective in the long run with the toners versus the ink replacements. For example, with my Canon, I noticed that this thing with the pigment ink being waterproof has not really worked when I bought inks that were not Canon, basically. So yeah, that wasn't awesome. So I was saying, like with the laser printer, I think in the long run it's a little bit more cost effective when you use the toners. And also the cool thing with laser printers is that you can foil. And come on, that is so pretty. Emma, no, I didn't fussy cut the images. I cut them with my Scan and Cut. I cut them ahead of time. I even wondered, oh, this is coming a little bit darker than I wanted it to, but well, that's what it is. Anyway, so no, I was saying I cut them with my Scan and Cut machine. I even thought whether I should show it during the live, but then it would have been a little bit complicated with moving the tripod because my Scan and Cut is a little bit far from where I'm recording right now. So yeah, but it was definitely quite quick to do that with the Scan and Cut. Christine, I don't know if you heard, but there is a challenge going on. We're going to create our mushroom villages by stamping this image like smaller and multiple times. And by the way, there's like also accessory images that you can get in the bundle, so you can, you know, get creative with your villages. Amanda, thank you. I'm not getting the blend that I want though, so I think this MB1 is a little bit is running a little bit low. I need to refill it. And by the way, illustrators are refillable, which is great. Okay, this is so much better, so much juicier. All right, yeah, I'm just gonna cover the entire. Right, Laura, me too, me too. Like it also reminds me of like these fairy tales, as I was saying before, some animated movies that I was watching as a kid. It's absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so this is a little bit better. So normally I would probably work at this even more, because I will be honest, I think the blend could be a little bit better, but I also don't want it to get too dark, so I'm going to stop here. And I'm also going to change color combination for these parts and this part here, because otherwise, excuse me, this will get too dark. So I think I'm going to use some skin tones. So I have a chart here on the side where I have all my markers swatched, and this helps me, and this is what I'm constantly looking at when I pick my color combinations. And this is something that I advise that you guys do no matter what your coloring medium is. So I have it for illustrators, okay, these are inks, doesn't matter. The few Copics that I have, Zicklin, Colorio, brush markers, all kinds of markers. Oh, she has a fairy set also. Oh, the fairy set would be perfect with the Mushroom Village. Oh, yes, yes. The Mushroom Village is taking shape in my mind, you guys. Okay, so let me pick out some markers and stop chatting and chatting and chatting. Okay, well, I'm going to use basically the same color combination that I will use for her skin, but yeah, I think it will be fine. And I didn't show the glazing here, because the glazing technique, because it's already too dark and I don't want to touch it anymore. Yay, Eloise ordered the fairy set. Awesome. I need to order it too. Okay, so this time I started directly with my darkest marker because yeah, it's just a small image and there isn't a lot of, I mean, the shading is pretty simple. There isn't a lot of thinking to be done. This, I felt that way, so I went with TN3, then I moved on to FS5, but I would even skip that. This one that I used just now was FS8, and now we have FS9. I hope you can read the marker numbers on screen, but I'll try and you know, sort of say which markers I'm using as I use them. And I will probably, so I will add a list of markers that I used in the description box down below at the end of the live. And if I have enough time, I'm also going to make a blog post about this card, so everything is there with all the information you need. Tiffany, hi, how are you? Welcome. We are making a scene card live, Tiffany, using some digital stamps by the Paper Ness dolls. And I have to say that my coloring is especially uninspired today. I don't know why, but Christine locked the kids out of the room. Well, I sent my husband away from the internet. I banned him from using internet during the live because I had a live stream a few weeks ago and he had, well, okay, I'm not blaming him for that, but he had to be online for work and he had kind of a conference call type thing, and my life didn't go great, so now we are taking turns. But I think he's happy, like, in the living room with his PlayStation at the moment. Happy's turn, yeah. So yeah, I didn't lock him, well, I locked myself in my craft room, so I guess you could look that from the other perspective. Then I locked him out. But six children, Christine, nice. Okay, I was cleaning up these areas a little bit more because I'm going in and adding some shading to these areas. This I want to leave pretty light, So I think I'm going to add just a couple of shades. Tiffany says she locks herself in the craft room all the time. Yeah, me too. I spend a lot of time in here. Okay, so as you can see, for these parts here that are on the edge, I'm doing the same thing. I don't know if you can see it because it may be a little bit dark. As I said, it's night here and I do have my lights on here on my desk, but there is just so much you can do with the phone, I guess. So yeah, as I was saying, I'm leaving a blank space, like a blank area between my shadow and the stamped lines, also on these little dots that I'm coloring now, spots rather. And I am also going to darken this a little bit. Tiffany, nice trip with the voiceovers. Yeah, that's a good one. Pretending to have a voiceover so that we can get some peace and quiet in the house. We don't have kids, so yeah, I don't do that, but it's a nice tip for the future. Oh, thank you guys. Laura says she loves the shading of my spots on the mushrooms. And Christine is also saying this is looking beautiful. If I didn't show this, this was FS8. Thank you guys. Yeah, so when I was back in Germany, I was crafting on a table in our living room. And it was, I mean, it was nice, obviously. It's not that I'm complaining, but as I've said in previous lives, and I was mentioning earlier, I am kind of messy. So that meant that every time I had to tidy everything up because it was unlivable otherwise. Also because part of my craft room or my craft area kind of seeped onto our living room table. That was our dining table. And now that we moved here, I have a craft room for myself, which means that if I get messy and I don't want to tidy up because it's late or just I don't feel like it, I can lock the mess into the craft room and lock myself out of it, and it's perfectly fine. Oh, right, Christine, she draws everything with a pencil first, so you don't go straight to straight digital. That's nice. Tiffany, this image is cute. Yes, it is. This is a digital stamp. I don't know if I said it once, like after you joined. But there is a rubber stamp too. I hope I'm not repeating myself too much. I just want to make sure that everybody is up to speed and has all the information, including the giveaway. Because I don't think Tiffany knows, but there are two $10 gift certificates that will be given randomly to two people who commented during the lives, and these can be used either in the rubber stamp shop of the Paper Ness dolls or in the digital store, and these were kindly donated by Christine, who is the owner and the artist behind the Paper Ness dolls and these adorable gnomes. Yes, Laura, I have my own craft room. Yes, yes. I was very excited. It was the first time I had a room to myself, actually. Pretty much. Well, okay, let's not count dorms during university, but I was sharing a room with my brother when I was at my parents'. And then, okay, well, I don't have to tell you my life story, but basically, this was my first craft room. Okay, so that's that, and now we can move on to the door. When I color wood, I missed the bit. See, I'm getting lost in all this chit-chatting, and then just kidding. So that was MB1 that I used to fill in this space, but actually I'm hunting for my MB2. See, the mess is already starting to take over because I have all the markers that I used so far already spread out on my desk. I don't know, we'll see by the end of this live how the mess situation will be like. Okay, so when I color wood, I always use markers in the EB family. They are kind of more colder browns, I would say. I'm not going to shade every single section here, but I'm going to show you a cool way, and which looks super fancy but it's not, to create the texture of wood. But first we're going to just color this in as if we were doing some like coloring with no fanciness to it. With no special tricks, as if this was just a flat surface. So I'm going all around the door with my EB5. Also in this case I am starting directly with my darker marker because I felt confident enough to jump in with it. Oh, I have never tried. Erin is saying she makes her own digital stamps. I don't have the talent for it. I like to color pretty images that are drawn by people like Christine, who are definitely better than me. Okay, the next is EB3, which I'm using to shade and to blend out my darker marker. And if you wanted this to be a little bit lighter, and if you're using Illustrator markers, then you could go for like a palette like the one I used here, which is what I was going for in my mind, but I didn't translate it to markers, and I don't know why I didn't think about it when I was picking them out. But anyway, kind of a skin tone type color palette, because there aren't a lot of very light browns in the Illustrator Markers palette. I mean, there are, but then the lightest shades are not as light as your skin tones. Next is EB1, which is our highlight color, and I'm going to use that to also fill in this blank space that I left before. There you go. Again, here I kind of went a bit outside the lines at on the door handle, but we'll use the colorless blender to fix that later. Okay, so now let's hope that what I had in mind works nicely, because I feel nervous now. I'm just trying to get a bit of a nicer blend here by using this kind of brush stroke motions. Yeah, I would live in this mushroom house for sure too. Okay, now to create the texture of wood, we are going to do some scribbles, and I'm going to do them with my I'm going to use my, sorry, there was a comment which was somehow blocked by YouTube, I don't know, and I was trying to fix it. Anyway, back to the texture. I'm using my EB5 marker, and I'm going like this. I draw a little dot, and then I go with some squiggly lines around it. And and I create this kind of pattern. Then I put, I don't know, another dot here, and I do the same. And it's just squiggly lines with dots, which eventually, once we fill this in, should more or less give the feeling of like wood a little bit. Amanda says it takes so much time, but it looks good. Yeah, it does take a little bit of time. I am being a little bit slower probably as well, because I'm trying to chat and I'm trying to show everything. This isn't turning out, oops, very nice, but the concept was to just add a little bit of texture with these dots and these squiggly lines. No, it's not too bad. And then I'm going to just blend with EB1 just to blend this out a little bit, because I don't want it to be such a stark pattern. It has to be a subtle effect. And so by blending my lighter marker on top, I'm sort of yeah, making it a little bit more subtle, as I said. Hey Betty, better late than never. Yeah, don't worry, there is still a little bit of coloring to go through, and I hope you guys aren't bored of it yet. For the door handle and all the frames, I'm going to use some golden browns. GB1, GB5. And it was on my desk, but it's not anymore. Well, it's gonna be GB2. The door looks like wood grain, says Laura. Yeah, and it's not very difficult, because like I was honestly just adding squiggles. Thanks, Amanda. She says she loves listening to me talk. Oh, thanks. Actually, I will say I'm a little bit self-conscious about talking to the camera, so I'm glad to hear comments like this. What are you up to, Amanda? She's crafting. What are you crafting? I'm sure it's going to be something wonderful. Amanda is very talented. You should check out her work on Instagram. She's amazing. Oh, thanks, Laura. Okay, so as you can see on this side, I'm using, or rather on this part of the image, I'm using the precision tip of my marker, because yeah, the sections are so small. Well, yeah, they are much smaller than the rest of the image that I've colored, and so because I want to still be able to leave a little bit of that white edge around the shadows, I'm trying to use this. But you know, like, even if you don't manage to use this technique on every single part of the image, because some of the details are just too fine to do it, it's fine. It's not a big deal. The overall result will be very nice anyway. Sorry, my voice is going away. Technical problems. Hey Sandra, hi. Welcome, thanks for joining us. Amanda is creating, whoa, some Heffy Doodle card with Heffy Doodle edges. Okay, nice, I can't wait to see it. Yeah, so if you are new to the Paper Nest doll, and if you like the stamps, make sure to also join Christine's group on Facebook. There's a lot of inspiration also from the design team there, so more inspiration for your mushroom village. If somebody is joining just now, there is a challenge to create a village with this image by stamping it repeatedly in a smaller version, and to create a village with it, put it on a card, an art journal, a layout, whatever you like, and then you can share it in the group so we can all see it, and Christine can see it too. Yes. Oh, big giveaway and party on Christine's Facebook group soon, right? At the next milestone, right, Christine? Okay, so this was GB1, which I used to blend everything. Okay, I'm going to stop trying to add more detail because otherwise we will not, well, okay, I was gonna say we will not go to sleep, but I think for most of the people it's afternoon, but you still have to have dinner, right? I forgot the spots here, see? Okay, I'm just cleaning them up and I'm going to fill them in real quick. Emma's ideas for villager emotion. Oh, okay, it's a digital stamp, but because I was thinking about all those decorated wood slices that you share, which are absolutely gorgeous. 5 p.m. in New York. How close is that to dinner time? Frozen pizzas tonight. Oh, tonight my husband cooked, Laura. He was very nice because I was working on some things up until, I don't know, maybe 6, 7, and he said, okay, now take a break before you're live, I'll make you some dinner. So salad and eggs. But it doesn't matter, like as long as it's somebody else cooking it, everything is gourmet, right? Yeah, this would be amazing on a wood slice. Well, there are rubber stamps that you could use instead of the digital ones. Lori says, I live alone so I can eat whenever. Yeah, we are kind of bad here in terms of schedule, in the sense that we don't really have one. But it's okay. Trying to take it easy. Florida is a place I would really love to visit one day. Well, there are so many places in the States I would like to visit. Can you get the rubber stamps in the UK? Maybe Christine can answer that. Oh, there is what, I don't remember the name of the store right now. It will get to me, or maybe Christine can write it. There is a retailer here in the UK. Swedish Housecraft. Are they still a retailer, Christine? Okay, yes, I just saw your message. Perfect. Okay, so for the step stones, I guess that's what they are called, we are going to use some warm grays. Starting from BG5, again adding it where I think the shadows would be, which is not entirely correct, but it doesn't matter, it's too late. I think I shouldn't have put the shadow here, but it's not a big deal. And then here on the side. Sorry, Amanda, I missed your question before you actually found the group for yourself. Sorry about that. Seafood. Oh, I love seafood. I love seafood. So I am originally from Italy, I guess you may tell from my pretty non-English accent, non-native accent. And my grandparents' house was near the sea, so I love seafood, long story short. Not so much fish, but seafood is something I can eat, I don't know, all day, every day. Lori was born in Italy, really? Which part, if you don't mind me asking? Don't feel like you have to reply if you don't want to, but if you do, I'd be curious. My mushroom house will go for top dollar in the real estate market. Thank you. Thank you, Laura. Who knows what currency gnomes use? Okay, so here is the... Are these called stepstones, guys? Okay, Amanda is now in the group of the paper nest dolls. Yay! For the windows, I'm going to do something quick. So I'm just adding some BT1 and I'm trying to leave some white lines as if this was sort of a reflection of the light on the glass. Belluno, I've been there. My mom's family is from the province of Belluno. That's incredible. And well, I'm not sure, like we went skiing once with my family in my entire life and I think it was in that area. I was very little, so I don't remember. Oh, that's so nice. So not too far from Venice, right? Which is another beautiful city. Okay, just a little bit of shading with BT3 here at the corners of the window. Rather randomly, I have to say, in the sense that I'm not being super particular about these shadows here, but just adding them for some extra depth. Like in images or portions of the image that are so small, it's okay to be imprecise. Yeah, and Lori, yes, for Rio. No, we weren't in Cortina d'Ampezzo. That is a very popular skiing area, but it is also quite expensive. At least I mean I know in terms of reputation. As I said, I haven't been there. Hey Kelly, hi, thank you so much. Next we're going to color the leaves and the flowers, and for the flowers, what should I use? I will use some pinks. Pretty pinks. Oh, Christine was also in Italy. I don't know that place. Where is it? Is it like north, center, south? Because I really don't know it. I should look it up. So I'm starting with PP1 as my lighter color. Near, I don't know, Jare. Which region is that? Oh my goodness! Emma visited Venice with the 3-month-old baby and a pushchair. Ah, pushchair. No, that's not probably the best landscape, or you know, yeah, the best city to visit with a pushchair. Although in Italy, I don't know, because I was thinking like Florence, but it's all pebble stones. I think in the center. Rome is quite for sure. But Venice is a beautiful city to visit. I went there very quickly. Well, like I was there for a day, really. It was a day trip. So, one day I need to go back. And I need to go back to Florence, because I think it's the most beautiful city in Italy. At least among the ones that I have visited. Taormina, ooh, Catania, Sicily, oh my goodness. Yeah, you guys are making me like daydream of Italy. All the food. Okay, I'm not good. MG3, MG1 and PP1. Yeah, Emma, if you get the chance, you should totally visit Florence. It is beautiful. Don't go there in August because it's scorching hot, but yeah, if you get the chance, I absolutely recommend it. The whole of Tuscany is beautiful. Christine says she has never used these markers, but they look like they blend beautifully. Yes, they do. These are Illustrator Markers by Spectrum Noir, and yeah, I love them. I use them all the time. I think they are a great product. They are a great value as well, and they are refillable too, which is great. So if you guys are looking to invest in alcohol markers, I think this is something you should definitely consider. I have been using Spectrum Noir since I started card making, and I love them. I love them. I'm now in the team, but as I said, these were my first marker, my first and only markers. I started with the original ones, and now that the classic, the new illustrators came out with the new nibs, the refills, I switched over to those, and well, to these, and I am in love. So here I'm using 3 markers to shade the leaves, which is a total overkill. And it is AG3, AG1 and CG1. Thank you guys for your nice words. Thank you, Lori. So Sicily is another great region. We were there on a school trip. I think I said this on my previous live. I think Laura was there. Okay, I'll come back to Sicily in a second, but I wanted to reply to Kelly, who's asking where the images by. They are by the Paper Ness dolls. These ones here are digital stamps that I printed on my Canon Pixma, and then I cut with my scan and cut machine. There is a rubber stamp version for this as well. I have a link to the digital stamp in the description box here of the live, and I will also add the link to the rubber stamp at the end of the live, as well as to all the other products that I will use. Yeah, Christine is the artist and the owner of the Paper Ness dolls, and she's the one who drew them. As I said, she's the artist. Okay, time for the gnome. The mushroom house is ready. I think I didn't miss any bit. If you guys spot a bit, let me know. Yeah, they are adorable. They are adorable. She has lots of cute images. You should check her out. Oh my goodness. 1, 2, 3. She has some really beautiful images. You should check out her store. I'm past my bedtime, you guys. Thanks, Lori. Thanks. She says I brought the beautiful mushroom house to life. Okay, so now skin tones. I really need to start tidying up after myself. Let's start from TM3, which is my darker marker. Again, here I think I'm pretty confident with the shading, so I'm not doing the mapping. And I'm adding a bit of a cast shadow under the hair too. So I just basically went all around her face, and then I'm going to just put a little shadow here under her nose, because I think that makes the face looks a little bit cuter, and also like there is a shadow, right? Because the bridge of the nose in principle is further away from us than the tip of the nose, right? So the tip will be lightest. She has a website, Kelly. There is a website where you can get the stamps if you want. And there is a Facebook group, as Christine is saying in the comments, if you want to join, get inspiration. Yeah, Christine, I will put all the links in the description box down below afterwards as well. Laura is saying she's waiting to see how I treat the birds. Which color should I use? I was going to go for like a warm yellow, but is that too cliche? Oh, Emma is going to bed. It is quite late. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much, Emma. Yeah, good night, and hopefully catch you with the next live too. Yellow would be bright and cheery for the birdies. Yes. Speaking of that, I just wanted to tell you that basically this is one image that I flipped horizontally in the software I use to open and print the images. So that's another, this is a very easy way to get mirrored images, sometimes with traditional stamps. I mean, you can do it, you can use mirror stamps, you can use acetate, but it's not always fail-proof, let's say. Whereas with digital stamps, it's really, really easy. Here I went in with my FS6, which has kind of erased some of the colors I had previously put down. So I'm going back in with my FS8, trying to blend the colors. I don't know why, I feel like I'm not getting a nice blend tonight. Oh, bluebirds, says Laura. How about teal blue? Okay. Okay, let's stop here. I'm not very happy with the shading, but it is what it is. Let's move on. I think so. Okay, so I'm going to make I'm going to use teal, we said, for the birds. Oh yes, Kelly, the paper that I'm using is Nina Solar White 110 pounds cardstock. I'm going to use some teal blues for the birds. I was saying I want to bring in a little bit of the pink back in the image and a little bit of yellow maybe, I don't know. Okay, I'll color her hat and her dress pink for now, and then we'll figure it out. The only markers I put away are the ones that I was going to use again, obviously. Okay, again, starting from my lighter marker, adding the shadows on the sides of the image and leaving that little white rim. And also I'm going to have a cast shadow here where there is a fold on the hat. Then I'm going in with my mid-tone marker. I think that's maybe why I wasn't getting such nice shading, because I was jumping in directly to my shadow marker to kind of keep things a little bit shorter, because it's already been over an hour, but then you don't have that transition. Let's see. Also, colors like reds, pinks are kind of hard to blend compared to others, because not only do they bleed, but also it's kind of like when you add the lighter marker on top, it doesn't blend as much as it eats at the marker you have already down. You will see it in a little bit. well, hopefully you won't, because that means that my colors will blend nicely, but there isn't much going around that. Oh, there is going to be a party in the Paper Nest Toads group. All right. Trying to blend these colors a little bit better. Christine, you sound very excited about the party which is coming up. Okay, see what I mean? It's not really blending so much, it's almost erasing what I have. And so what I do in this case is that I saturate the paper so that it's wet with my alcohol markers, and then I go back in with my mid-tone, which is the one which has been kind of erased right now. And that gives a little bit of a nicer blend. Let's see if I can do the same here. So in a way, you can, so obviously watercolors and alcohol markers are very different, but you can play with saturating your paper in the same way you do with watercolors in a way. So when your paper is nice and wet, with your alcohol markers, if you go and color on top, you will get a nicer blend, because that basically that alcohol that's soaked into the paper is going to help your colors move and spread out. Lori, you will find a link in the description box of my video here for this digital stamp. It should take you directly there, and it's not just the mushroom house, it's an actual bundle with 10 digital stamps. I don't think there is a standalone digital stamp for the mushroom house. If somehow the link in the description box down below does not work, do let me know. Maybe I can somehow add it right now, or Christine can help. Okay, as I said, I'm going to also use this same color to color in her dress, and I'm trying to speed this up a little. So MG3, again MG1, and at this point I think I'm just going to skip the PP1, because as I said, the image is so small. Okay, here the arm in the back will be in shadow, and here there is a little bit of a cast shadow from her neck, but that's as far as I'm going to go in terms of detail for these images. Yeah, the link is in the description of the video, Christine. You should be able to open up the description of the video and find the link there. Okay, for the apron I'm just going to use those two blues that I used on the windows to add some quick shading. I'm basically going to color it as if it was white, so I'm just adding a bit of a shadow with my teal blue. Nothing shades better than an Illustrator marker, says Laura. I love them, I love them. And I think, so basically the Spectrum Noir Crafter's Companion came up with a new ink formula, which is the same you get in the ink blenders and in all the markers in the Spectrum Noir family, and it's amazing. It really blends very nicely, the colors are nice and vibrant, and yeah, so I really have a lot of fun with them. So because I'm coloring the birds blue, per Laura's request, okay, Lori found the link, yay! So because the birds are going to be blue, as I said, I'm going to bring in some yellow here in the little details. So for example, here on the pocket, on the gloves, in the center of the flower, and let's do the ribbon here on the apron, as well as the tulip. And here I'm just going to use 2 colors because the areas are so small that we don't need more than that. Okay, we are almost there. With the coloring, and then we're going to put this on a cute scene, which shouldn't take too long because I already did the die cutting. Here just a little bit of shading in the center of the flower. For her hair I'm jumping back and forth between sections. I hope it's not too confusing, but that's how I usually color. I'm using TN3 and then I'm going to use TN5, and here I'm just basically going to create some C shapes to render the curls a little bit, but again, something just quick and fuss free. Thanks, Laura. I actually feel like things aren't working very well tonight, but I'm glad you don't share my opinion. So again, with this darker marker I'm making fewer and smaller C shapes, and that's the coloring of the hair. So you see, it's very easy, very quick. Don't need to feel intimidated. I know that hair is tricky, but we can do it. I'm also going to use these TN markers to color in the vase so that I'm not bringing in a ton of different colors in the image, otherwise it starts getting a bit too colorful. Hey Dottie, a little late. No worries, no worries, there's still lots to craft. Just to let you know, because you just joined, there is a giveaway here. So there's 2 $10 gift certificates to the Paper Nest dolls, which is the brand that created the stamps that I'm using today. Birdies! So we said blues, and I'm going to use 2 blues just because I have them already in the card, and I'm not going to, so that this way I don't add extra colors. Very quickly. Okay, I should do it like this. And even for the birds I'm going to use only 2 shades. So this time I'm just filling in basically everything apart from that little rim that I want to use. And then I'm coming in with my BT3, the one that I'm using now is BT1. And I'm going to create some shading. And then I'm going to go back in with my BT1 and blend everything out and fill in those areas that I left blank right now. Oh, enjoy your dinner, Amanda. Thanks a lot for joining, and I also look forward to seeing your card. I'm sure I'll love it. Okay. And then BT1. Yeah, these birds are cute and pretty. Okay. Oh, I forgot. There was a very nice tip that a friend of mine shared when you want to color some pre-cut images which are small like this, and it can be a little bit difficult to sort of hold on to them and grab them. Then what you do is you take some washi tape, some purple tape, anyway, some low tack tape, and you tape them on a strip of it. And that holds them in place and makes your life so much easier. But I forgot, so I had to struggle. No, it wasn't such a struggle, I'm just kidding, but that is definitely something that's a little bit more comfortable than this. Just a little bit of BO1 on the beaks. They could be shaded a little bit better, I guess, but I think I'm just gonna add a couple of brush strokes and that's gonna be it. Bird bath is the last, and I'm going to again use some warm grays to color it in. Oh, Betty has illustrators too. Sorry, I think either you guys are commenting now or I missed some of them. So Lois said that she liked that I could reverse the birds. Yes, so digital stamps give you a lot of flexibility. That is something that I really like about them. Maddalena has quite a few Spectrum Noirs. Yeah, I love them. I love them too. And yeah, I hope, you know, you'll keep building your collection because they are really fun. Do you which ones do you have? Do you have the illustrators like the ones I'm using, or do you have the classics? There's also the tri-blends, which you get 3 shades in one marker, but I don't think those are refillable, and I don't think all the colors, I think the color range for now is a bit smaller than with the other Spectrum Noirs. Betty, so great to see a Spectrum Noir Illustrator tutorial. Thank you. I actually I use them a lot in my videos as well, so I don't know if you are new here. If you're not, I'm sorry, but yeah, you can check those out because I often use them in my videos. Dotsie had never heard of the illustrators before. Yeah, so these are like they aren't new as such in the sense that they were on the market already. I think the classic Spectrum Noir markers, the ones with the black barrow and the bullet tip, were a little bit more popular, but now they basically changed all the ink formulation. They changed the nibs on the Illustrator markers. These are now made in Japan, so they are really cool. And yeah, I love coloring, so Illustrator markers plus these cute digital stamps, which I could stamp nice and big, are a nice combo. You guys, we got through it! The coloring is over! Yay! So now it's time to put this on a scene. That is new to Paper Ness dolls. Yeah, so they make rubber stamps and digital stamps as well. This set here is also available in both formats. I'm not sure if you were here already when I was saying it. If you were, I'm sorry for the repetition. But yeah, so if you want, you can check them out. I have a link in the description of this video. Thank you, Kelly. I'm glad you found watching me color relaxing. So now I have some watercolor cardstock that I die cut with a rectangle die by Heffy Doodle, and I also used the grass die by Heffy Doodle to die cut this grassy hill. And I'm going to create my little scene. I'm going to do some very quick ink blending with my Distress inks or oxides. What do you guys say? What do you guys say? Or do you want to see Harmony Inks by Spectrum Noir? Betty says oxides. Oxides. Okay, then oxides it is. Madeline, how do you mean you lost me? If there is if there was something that wasn't clear, please let me know. I'm picking up my oxides in the meantime because everybody seems to prefer those. So we'll go for those. I'm just trying to find them, the colors that I want. I want Mowed Lawn and Twisted Citron for the grass, and then for the sky I want to use Cracked Pistachio, Peacock Feathers, and if I can find it in the next 30 seconds, I want to use Mermaid Lagoon too. There it is, see? Okay, so for the grass I'm going to use blending foams. This is how I store the little foam pads. So I want the one for Twisted Citron and the one for Mowed Lawn. Is the zoom okay, or should I zoom out now that I am doing the background? I feel like I'm still in frame most of the time, so I would tend to leave it like this, but you guys let me know. Okay. So I'm blending Twisted Citron from the bottom towards the top of my grassy border using my foam blenders and circular motions. Okay, and then I'm going to just add a little bit of shading using Mowed Lawn. I'm neat. I don't know, I feel like I'm messy all the time, but thank you. You guys are very sweet. And then I'm adding a little bit of shading with Mowed Lawn. I also want to add a few droplets because I think it's always fun to add some extra interest to the background. I need to protect my images because, you know, we did a lot of work, so I am kind of pushing them to the side before taking my distress sprayer, a cloth that I need to clean my glass mat, and a little paintbrush. My creaky chair. Madeline was trying to answer, she clicked on another video. No, don't go away, stay with us, stay with us. We're almost there. If you go, you won't see the finished card. Okay, so I just smooshed my ink pads on the glass mat. I'm going to activate the inks with some water, and I'm picking it up with my paintbrush and creating some little droplets. I'm doing the same with the Mowed Lawn, and then I'm going to put this aside and see, it adds just a little bit of depth and a little bit of an extra fun touch. If you wanted to add sparkle, you could do the same thing, adding some perfect pearls, for example. You just dilute them with water and they add a beautiful shimmer. But if you want, I can show you on the sky. Let me know. I can do that, no problem. Or I can use some sparkle inks that I have also by Spectrum Noir. Okay, sky. So I'm going to use a little bit of green in the sky, which may sound odd, and I'm not entirely sure if it will also look odd. I don't think so, and the reason why I'm doing this is that I have my mushroom, which is red, and red and kind of, so red and cracked pistachio basically make a wonderful contrast, and I want to try and take advantage of that. Thank you, Kim. Sorry about that. I'm getting excited. I'm using the Stencil and I'm using some blending brushes. I'm not using blending foams because blending brushes allow me to get a nicer blend. And because I'm using stencils, I'm going to bust out my Make Art Station. About this time, I really appreciate it, and I love being here and crafting while I chat with you. It's a lot of fun. So, no, I shifted the stencil. Okay. I'm adding my ink with some circular motions on top of the stencil. And then I can move up. And I rotate the stencil because each side has a different pattern, and that will make the sky look more interesting. So here I'm going to use a little bit of cracked pistachio, and then I'm going to switch over to peacock feathers, and I'm going to layer the two colors so that I create almost like a transition shade between the two that makes the whole gradient a little bit more natural, I feel. Yeah, these blending brushes are great, Laura. These are by scrapbook.com, and I've been using them for over a year now, and I really like them. And they help a lot with oxides because oxides blend beautifully, but it's a little bit harder, at least I find it a little bit more challenging to get that smooth blend into white. And with blending brushes, it's much easier to do that. I'm trying to read your comments, guys, while I keep pink blending my Distress Oxide in Peacock Feathers. This time it's just the Peacock Feathers. Somebody was asking, I think it was Kelly maybe, yeah, about my storage for the foam pads. Those aren't coin pockets, they are by Simple Stories. They're like for pocket pages, basically. I mean, I will link everything down below. If you're interested, I can add the link to that too. Now, I should clean the stencil before going over this area, because that's where I had my cracked pistachio and I don't want any green up here. So, okay. I'm switching over to Mermaid Lagoon. The stencil for the clouds is by My Favorite Things, Lori. I think it's still available. The first layer in the sky, Kim, yes, it is cracked pistachio. So it's cracked pistachio, this is cracked pistachio and peacock feathers only, and Mermaid Lagoon. I just want to check out really quickly that, yes, I have all the sky that is nice and blended. I can put away my stencil and my Make Art Station. I am going to just, I keep like hitting things. Hope the noise is not too loud. I'm just adding a little bit of shading here at the top. And yeah, thanks Kim, she likes the color combination for the sky. So this is something that works great on Christmas cards too. Even if you don't use a cloud stencil and you do like just a gradient, it's beautiful, and you can even go up to blueprint sketch. I don't know if you were here when I was talking about the card I made with the gingerbread house from the Paper Ness dolls, but I think I did exactly this. I used exactly this color combination for the sky, or was it pink? I think it was pink. I'm lying. Forget about it. But anyway, it works great on Christmas cards too. Okay, and see, like I really like the contrast between the red of the mushroom and the blues that I have in the sky. So it's almost done. We have to just glue things down and then think about the sentiment, which I think I have it ready, and I think it's super cute. I'm using some liquid glue here. Oh, I was a little bit generous. The clouds look great. Thank you, Lois. Thank you, everybody. You guys are so sweet. Okay, so after the live, make sure to check the description box down below, because there is where I will announce the winners of the giveaway. In case somebody is just joining, a little reminder. There's two $10 gift certificates that are being offered by the Paper Ness doll. I forgot the splatters on the sky. It's okay. Anyway, so I will have the winners listed in the description box, and there you will also find all the supplies that I used with links. If you're interested, just, you know, give me a little bit of time to pick the winner and deal with creating the supply list, sorry. Christine, I was talking about the gingerbread house because I was talking about the color combination of my sky. You didn't miss anything, don't worry. So I'm gluing the mushroom house, and that will be kind of our centerpiece in a way. You guys are so sweet. Thank you so much for your lovely words in the chat. So I'm going to create a little bit of depth in the scene by adhering the gnome in the front, like, you know, yeah, in the front basically. And I'm going to add instead the birdhouse slightly behind the mushroom house. Did I say the birdhouse? I meant to say the bird bath. Okay, and this way you create, I'm just trying to figure out how high up I want it to be. Let's put it like this. I'm sorry that it covers a little bit the border, but yeah. That's it. I don't think I'm going to add this bird though. Like, my initial thought was to add him here. Let's see. I'll first work on the sentiment banner. I'm just going to cut it out of some white cardstock so that we keep it nice and easy. And I'm using some colored ink. Let's do it this way. Let me just grab my white cardstock. My banner. So the banner is from this die set by Fawn, and I basically just was looking for like a curved banner that was long enough for the greeting that I want to use. Thank you guys. Oh, you're making my day. You're making me so happy. You're all so sweet. Okay, so I leave the bird on the bird bath. So I'm just die cutting the banner out of some Nina Solar white cardstock. This is 110 pounds, and it's the same that I used for my images. Okay, this is off camera just to show you what I'm doing. Okay. And then I'm going to take my mixer because I don't know about you, but I cannot stamp without some sort of a stamp platform. And I'm going to use some pink ink. What do you say? For my stamping, I think it will look cute. It will kind of tie in pink or red. While I pick my sentiment, you guys can let me know what you think I should use. Anybody? Pink, says Christine. Pink, says Lori. Okay, we have a winner. Pink it is. So I have like a Gnome stamp set, and there is a super cool sentiment which reads, "There's Gnome place like home," which was just perfect. So I'm going to use it, and I'm going to attempt, I may have to sort of stagger them a little. So this is a little bit fidgety. But we shall win. So I'm first, basically what I want to do is I want to curve my stamp to follow the curve of the banner, and I am hoping that this banner is long enough. I can see that there is a little bit of an issue with the quality of the video, and I apologize for that. I hope it will resume. But basically I first glue it, put it down straight, I pick it up with the door, and then I sort of try and curve it a little bit. And then, yeah, I'm sorry it's blurry, it's the internet, I cannot do much about it, Christine. Hopefully it will come back. Anyway, so I curve the stamp. Yeah, I know it doesn't it doesn't depend on me, unfortunately. It may be just like a little drop in bandwidth. If you guys want, I can wait a minute. Okay. Yeah, I know it's a lag in the internet, I'm sorry. Everybody's at home, everybody's watching TV. It's just the way it is these days, I think. Okay, I'll first stamp this first part of the sentiment. I hope it was kind of clear when I was explaining it. I know that it's hard to see it at this point, but I'm just stamping my sentiment, and I'm trying to pick up my inks. Okay, I'll just take Distress Oxide in Picked Raspberry because it's easiest to grab. Maybe. I'll use Be Mine ink by Catherine Puller Inks. Okay, I'm not waiting, I'm going ahead. So this is a nice and bright pink, and I'm going to use it to stamp the image, the sentiment. Okay, I'm glad this is still not too bad, that you guys can follow. Okay, thank you for your support. It's kind of difficult, you know, because when these things happen, I have very little control. I have already, as I said, banned my husband from using internet. No, it's too... The banner is not as long as I thought it was, but we are just going to basically put the second part of the sentiment slightly lower with respect to the first one, pick it up with the lid of the Misty. Thanks for being understanding, guys. And try and curve it following the curve of the banner, basically. The stamp, this is from the Oak Gnome stamp set by Fawn, which if you have, you can definitely get so this is the stamp set. If you have this already, you can definitely get either the rubber stamp or the digital stamp and use them together, and it will be perfect. You'll have the perfect mushroom house for all your gnomes. Okay, so I'm stamping the second part of the sentiment. So we have, there is gnome, place like home. It's not so nice. It's not so nice. I thought it would work better. We'll live with it. So we said that the bird goes on the bird bath. And when I have tiny images like this, this is very useful. And then I basically wanted to have the birds holding the banner. How cute is that? Let's go ahead and glue it, and I will later take like a nice picture with my camera so that you can see a less blurry version of this card. Oops, adhere it right side up in the center as much as possible. And then the birdies. Then obviously at this point you could go ahead and use a shimmer pen to add glitter to whatever area you like. You could use a white gel pen to add highlights, and I might do it, I don't know. But yeah, for the, for this live, I think I'll stop here. I just wish the internet would allow you to see the card a little bit better now. But as I said, I'll be uploading a picture. So guys, that was it for today. Thank you so much for sticking around for such a long time, chatting with me, keeping me company. Everybody who commented will be entered to give one of the two $10 gift certificates to the Paper Nest Dolls store. I'm tired, you guys. I'm so sorry. So 2 gift certificates for $10, 2 winners. I will announce them in a little bit in the description of this video. There you will also find all the links to all the products that I have used, and a link to the Facebook group of the Paper Nest Dolls if you want to share your cards, your mushroom villages, because I won't forget, you guys said you're in for the challenge. And again, thank you so much, and I hope I'll catch you guys soon. Have a nice day, evening, night, whatever the time is at your place, and big hugs from me. Bye!